name is Heidi. I am going to give a testimonial about the use of the Sample Digitizer, especially with my pets. I have found this very helpful, and it seems to speed up healing quite quickly in some certain situations, so I'm going to give a testimonial about that today. I've been using the Spooky products for about 3 years, and I do have Generator X. I have XM generators. I have the Sample Digitizer, of course. I did just get the scaler recently, and I'm experimenting with that. And I do have the Microgen, the HeaWea as well. So, but today I'm going to talk about the Sample Digitizer and how nice it is to use this with pets. So the first thing that you would want to do if you are going to use this with your pets, and circumstances that might be helpful, for what I've used it for is like swabbing in their mouth if they have something going on with either dental or like a virus or something like that, or in their ear if they've got something going on with their ear, you can swab in their ear to get a sample. I have used it for cysts that my goats have, which I'll give an example about. And then my dog also just recently she has some problems with her anal glands get infected at this time of the year when the allergies are out, or she eats something that doesn't work for her. She has a chronic like colitis bowel type of situation, so that works out really good. So what I will do is I will load up the Gen X, and you just go to the biofeedback and you hit biofeedback, and then you hit Sample Digitizer. And then you would hook on your Sample Digitizer to the out one, and it comes with these slides that you put the sample on, and so there is like an E on the inside. So first of all, I have done what they have suggested and run just the baseline first. So you'll just put the slides together with the E's in the middle, put that together. And then you slide that in. When this is hooked up to out one, you would slide that in the Sample Digitizer, and it just locks in there nicely. And then you would put it on biofeedback, Sample Digitizer, and then when it gets up to the spot where you scan, just hit the baseline and then let it run a baseline scan. And so I do that first. And so then when the baseline is done, then I'll take these out, leave the screen alone, take these out, open it up, and then you can take a Q-tip with your sample of whatever the substance you're using, whether it's saliva or some mucus or nasal drainage or eye drainage or ear drainage. You know, I'm using this anal drainage, you know, whatever it is where the area where it's coming from. And put this on here, on the E's. And so you would put the mucus on the E's there. Then put your E's back together again, slides back together, E's together. Hook it back into the Sample Digitizer, which would be connected to your Gen X, output 1. So now it's connected. And then just hit scan. So now it's going to scan and do a biofeedback scan on that for you. Now, when it gets done, what I have done is I save it and put it in with my saved programs, give the name and put it in with my saved programs, and then I'll just take the plates out again, and if I have some more substance, I'll just make sure that it's, you know, it works better if the substance is wet on there, so I'll apply a little bit more of the substance. Then I'll put it on run and scan. And so then it'll just keep scanning and running, and I'll do that for 24 hours. Just let it keep scanning, running the hits. So it'll scan and run the hits and scan and run the hits. I'll do that for like 24 hours. Then I'll take it out, and then I will take my save program, and I will run a shell kill with that, and using in a remote either a hoof sample or a nail sample in the remote. Now, if your dogs have a hard time with you cutting your nails, I use like a little Dremel and just have them on a surface where you can see the dust, and then I'll use the sticker and collect the dust from their nail and put it, you know, use that on the sticker. For my goats, when I trim their nails, which I trim their nails about about every month. I have little baggies and I just keep a nail sample from each goat every month so I have a fresh one. That way if something comes up that I want to scan them on or that I want to treat them for, it's all ready. So a couple of things that I've had some really good results with is I have this bacteria that came into my goat herd and it's called CL. It's a pretty nasty thing. They're exposed to it. It goes in their body. It's highly transmissible, and then it goes through their lymph system, and it comes out with like lumps on their lymph areas. So they'll have them on their face or on their neck, sometimes in the back lymph, and it'll grow into a cyst that can get to be, golf ball size or something like that. And eventually that cyst will rupture, and there'll be like a cottage cheese bacteria inside that you have to clean out. So the problem is when it ruptures, they're really contagious. So if you can get them away from everybody at that time, that's the perfect time. So what I have found is if I can find the right time before it ruptures, and then I have them separated and open it up and clean it out, I'll take a sample of that, put it on my Sample Digitizer, and do the process like I talked about. First of all, the baseline, then scan it, save the results, do a run scan for 24 hours, and then go back and load up their program with a shell and run that for a few days. Like in 3 days, that area will usually dry up and scab over, and I can put them back with the herd, which is a huge improvement from before when it took at least a couple weeks of me flushing with peroxide and draining and stuff. So this has been really super, super helpful and much more or less stressful for my goats. They don't like to be separated, and it's painful, and they don't want me picking on them all the time. So this seems to clear it up really fast. And I'm hoping that if I can just do this, I can get it out of my herd now, just get control of it. So the other thing that I used it on recently was my dog had a ruptured anal gland, and she has kind of this colitis allergy thing, and it picks up in the spring when the snow melts and there's mold and stuff. And she had a rupture the other day. Now, in the past when she's had this, hasn't been for a couple of years, but this would take a long time, and she ended up going to the vet and having antibiotics and all this kind of stuff. So I caught it right away, and I caught some of the discharge, the mucus. I did the Sample Digitizer, and literally the next day it was cleared up, and she was eating again and really feeling back to herself, having a normal bowel movement and stuff. So that was pretty exciting. And then I've used it on things like with dental, with ears and eyes and stuff like that. So that is my testimonial for Sample Digitizer with pets. Now, another thing that could be really helpful is with children, throats, and if they're not where you don't feel comfortable doing a biofeedback scan with them, you could try using the Sample Digitizer with them as well. So there's my testimonial. Sample Digitizer has helped me very much with the pets, and all of the products from Spooky are fabulous. The customer support is fabulous. I am so very thankful for everybody there and what they do to help us stay healthy and keep our pets healthy. Hi, my name is Heidi, and I am doing a testimonial today for my use with Generator X, a remote contact, and actually I've been using the HeaWea for this healing condition as well. So the thing that I'll do a testimony is I have a chronic issue with my pancreas, like a chronic pancreatitis, biliary tract, bile duct issue that I've had for, it started probably like about 27 years ago. I was pretty young and got really, really ill and didn't know what it was, and was never able to get help through the medical system. They didn't diagnose it as what it was at that time, so I was just given some medications that really didn't help, and I got very ill. It ended up that I started seeing some alternative practitioners that helped me very, very much. That put me into the world of natural healing, which I'm so grateful for. And I spent all these years learning as much as I can about natural healing, and actually went into the field of natural healing myself several years ago. So I came across the spooky thing about 3 years ago, about 6 years ago. I had a flare up of this illness and ended up in the hospital with pretty severe pancreatitis and bile duct obstruction, pancreatic duct obstruction. So that's when I figured out that that's what had been the issue the whole 27 years is I had a chronic inflammation in my pancreas and bile ducts, which I don't have the lifestyle of that most people do. I have a pretty healthy lifestyle, especially the last 25 years. It's been a healing lifestyle, but genetically or predispositionally, or maybe from a virus or exposure. I feel like maybe it was an exposure. That's what I was dealt with. So, anyways, I've done almost everything you can think of for the last 20 some years to help heal this. And about 3 years ago, I ended up purchasing the Spooky2 equipment, looking for some healing with it. It was after I had gone through that pretty hard spell about 6 years ago that I needed to start trying some different things again. And so anyways, I just kind of wanted to go over with you as a testimonial. It's helped me out so very, very much. And I just wanted to go over how I kind of approached something like that using the Spooky2 with the Generator X. And now I've been using some other of the products, but mostly the Generator X is what I started out with. So first of all, when I got my Generator X, I started out treating symptoms like pancreatitis on the shell programs, biliary disease, bile duct spasms. Those helped immediately, just curb the pain and help me deal with things immediately. I also have like a low IgA, IgG, and pretty bad allergies that all came on with this illness. So environmental allergies, food allergies. And so I plugged those in as well, the allergy ones. And it really did help, like curb my symptoms quite a bit and give me a lot, easier time with life and getting back to my life again. Then I went back and I started using the terrain. So I kind of started picking it apart. Like, what is this all about? Is this a toxicity? So I started going through the terrain. I have to admit, the first time I went through terrain, I was on day 3 and I did not feel very good. So I did stop and then give it a couple of days and continue on. Now I have found that I pretty much keep it running all the time. If I stay off from it, my body doesn't detoxify well. So if I stay off from it for too long, then I'm just not feeling as well. I feel really pretty darn good when I run it all the time. And I will go off from it once in a while and give myself like maybe a couple weeks break or something like that. And then I'll go back on it again. And I do not have detox symptoms from it anymore as long as I keep it running. So that's been really important for me, but pretty hard to start at first. Then I went back to those killing modes again of trying to kill. Okay, what could this be from? So I was working on killing bacteria and killing parasites and killing viruses, and I kind of went through a series of killing things to see if there was anything underlying, any viruses underlying or something that might still be affecting me. So then I started alternating the terrain with sometimes like a daily wellness so that I could build my body back up again, or the Kundalini, and just to give my whole energy being some healing work as well. So I would kind of alternate the terrains most of the time, and then I would go off it and do some daily wellness or some Kundalini. Now this is on the remote that I'm doing all this. In the meantime, I started running the biofeedback scans. So I'd run a biofeedback scan, and then I would take the hits and I would do a contact mode for about 3 to 4 days with that, and then wait a week and do another biofeedback scan and do the contact mode again. So that, along with running on remote the terrain, along with on another remote running some of the other things for pancreatitis, biliary tract issues, bile spasms, that was kind of my routine that I was keeping up. Recently, I kind of started thinking about, come a long ways in the last 3 years again, between the spooky and some other things, and, in a better place once again, and maybe my body just needs some healing. So now what I've done is I keep running the terrain, and I I've just put now the remote on just liver, pancreas, stomach, spleen, and thyroid, because I have the thyroid is also affected with this. And I just run that energy so that my body can feel a healthy energy for those organs and start to take on that healthy energy and just do a little bit more building once again instead of always killing, killing, killing. And then at night, I've been running the HeaWea with the thyroid program on it, like hypothyroid and RX, endocrine RX, because that includes the pancreas as well. And I've been running that at night, and I really noticed a difference with the thyroid lifting and doing better. In fact, I'm going to have my blood work done again in a couple of weeks, and I'm really confident that it's already gone up and that it's going to go back into the normal range again, because it had swooped out of the normal range. So that's kind of the system I use for dealing with something that's a chronic autoimmune illness from unknown origin, although I feel like it was from an exposure and it just did something to my body and attacked those organs. And so that's kind of the way I went about it, with first of all starting out with helping out some symptoms right away so I could feel better, which would really help, and then doing the terrain at a pace that I could handle until it got to be really comfortable, and then going doing biofeedbacks and contact, work with that, and as well as killing things off like viruses and parasites or anything that I felt like might be affecting that spleen, pancreas, stomach, digestive area. And then bringing in some healing aspects, the Kundalini, the daily wellness, the Schumann resonance, and just bringing things in that heals my body as well. So that's how I've used the Gen X remote, contact, and biofeedback to help with a chronic issue. And I hope that might be helpful for you in your healing journey. Thank you.